It's a new time. It's a new era. It's that time. Gays is finna come and we finna do our thing too. Hey, this is Saucy Santana.
Hey, it's Angel Haze.
This is Killa.
This is the one and only Big Pretty Little Queen Diva.
This is Drebae, and
I got something to say.
Well, I always was into music. I was into music when I was a little kid. I started in gospel music. But what really inspired me to start with bounce music was watching my best friend Katie Red, who was the first person, to cross over into bounce music that was, that was a gay person. And that really inspired me to get into the game because I was backgrounding for Katie and dancing with her.
So the reason I decided to rap is I was working at a dead-end job that I didn't really like. I wasn't happy, but I never had the confidence to go out there and really just rap. So I decided to take it upon myself to message Nicki Minaj. She had followed me on Twitter at the time. She still does. I sent her a rap of me freestyling over a beat. I didn't expect her to respond. I didn't expect her to acknowledge me. She ended up responding the next day and said, "You killed that." So that gave me the confidence I needed just to get in the booth and start really going out there and putting my music out. I dropped my first song and then Kaylani ended up seeing it, bringing me out to Pride, and it was just up from there.
I wasn't really inspired to have a career in music because when I was coming out, there wasn't a career to be an artist like me. So I was just inspired mainly to get into clubs for free and get free drink tickets, and I was good at it. So I really didn't see a career until I started getting paid and traveling. Then I was like, oh, this is like a career.
What inspired me to start my music career was a life without music. A lot of people don't know, but I grew up in a religious cult and I wasn't allowed to listen to music until I was 16. So I think it was a hunger for something that I couldn't have that made me want to become something. And I could remember literally any song you played. The first time you play it, I can remember all the lyrics to it. So I figured it must be for something, and I started this.
I used to have a podcast with some of my friends. Like, we used to get on Facebook and just talk about different topics that was going on in the city. And so we was like, we needed a theme song. So we had ended up making a theme song. And like the whole city just really loved our verse. So, people was like, I didn't know you could rap. I didn't know you could rap. And I'm like, shit, me neither. So I just, after that, I started doing covers. So I did like a cover to Tatiana at the time. I did a cover to Act Up. And then I started getting booked for like, little local shows. I started doing showcases. And so I was like, man, let me like really, try to write something for real. And that's when I did Walk 'Em Like a Dog. And then everything changed after that. But once I dropped it, it was like, every stuff started getting major. Record labels started calling.
Well, to me, that's kind of like a hard question to answer because I can't really think of somebody in the realm of hip hop that was a predominantly queer or even like an effeminate character I could look up to. So a lot of the times with me growing up as a younger person, I looked up to a lot of female rappers because just the styling and the content they talked about was more relatable to me because I wasn't necessarily selling drugs, but I like to get a Fenty Boo and have a cocktail. So there has always been a queer, gay, and a trans presence in hip hop and in the music industry. When you look at the stylists, look at the people who direct the video, look at the people who are making the wigs and doing the makeup, and even writing the song. So for me, it wasn't really about one person. It was mainly about us finally getting visibility and being put from behind the camera to in front of the camera.
I feel like I'm the first, really doing it like this. I like Lil Nas. Even Lil Nas, said like, he came in regular, and then, once he popped and once he started making number ones, then that's when he was like, oh yeah, hey, by the way, I'm gay. With me, what you see is what you get. You don't have any rappers with, makeup and a beard and nails and just flamboyant and as feminine as me. So I think, this is something new that I'm starting.
Honestly, there's only a few queens that has, been a role model in my life, and that's RuPaul and Sylvester. And I look to them for just their work ethics, their music, their likeness in the game.
Ooh, Okay. I got a lot of artists I want to collab with.
Oh my God, that list is long, honey.
Oh man, in the future, I'm going to say Tracy Chapman.
I for sure want to collab with Nicki. I love her. She's dope.
I still would love to work with Kanye. I think he's amazing.
Patti LaBelle, Diana Ross.
Drake. I think he's big and he's so versatile. I love the way he sounds on different types of tracks.
I really honestly want to do something with Kendrick Lamar. I think bar for bar we would go crazy.
I definitely want to do a song with Lil Wayne. I want to do stuff with Fantasia, Kelly Price.
Doja Cat, the way she's just making a wave right now, I feel like she's something so fresh and different. And if Rihanna is still making music, I'm gonna work with Rihanna. I want to work with her too. I love me some Rihanna.
Homophobia is still out here. When I first came out, people were like, you know, is it a gimmick? You know, can he really rap, or was this something that just went viral? And then, you know, people started to see, okay, you know, he's constantly making hits. He's constantly, you know what I'm saying, making music. I feel like I've made my mark, but it's still a lot of things, a lot of barriers that I have to break.
It's been okay. Like, you know, I do everything by myself. And I feel like every time that someone has reached out to help me industry-wise, they've tried to change me. You know, they've said things like, you know, maybe you should rap about girls, or maybe you should pretend to be straight until we get this amount of attention, do this. I'm never going to sell myself out and be something that I'm not. So until I find a team that can really support me for me and my dreams, I'm not going to be working with anybody but myself, period.
I really couldn't tell you because I'm so focused on grinding and hustling and doing what I'm supposed to do. Like, you know, like I was probably one of the first effeminate rappers to be on Hot 97. You know, I did Vlad, you know, I was just on that Netflix show, Rhythm and Flow. So for me, I don't really focus on a lot of the, like, what could be negative or what could be like gatekeeping, because at the end of the day, when you're doing tours in Europe and, you know, you're doing shows with artists you're not really focusing on, like, woe is me, like, I'm not going to get a Jadakiss feature. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I just have to focus on, you know, what's for me opposed to what's not for me, so.
You know, it has its ups and downs. You know, I'm grateful to be in a lane where people love me and people respect me and people respect my hustle and my music and my art. So, you know, that's one side of it. And then there's the side where I still have to fight for being a Black gay artist that's out there and still have to fight for my money sometime, you know, versus a heterosexual artist.
I think I've been really fortunate, like, obviously, to come from where I'm coming from with my music and to have such a unique story and to have had that, you know, give me such a unique position. But if I was to say it hasn't been hard and life-altering, then I would be total, like, liar and amiss with that. I think what I love the most about my journey in music is that it has taught me the truest, like, most succinct value of my voice and how important my voice is.
The Superdome, when I opened my mouth, was unbelievable. Also, when I performed with Drake, when I performed with Kesha, when I performed with Lizzo, so many different moments I've had, highlights in my career where it just was mind-blowing.
I think Hot 97 was kind of one of the big moments for me because I never thought something like that would happen. I was nervous because first of all, they had me come mad early. So that's the other thing. It's like, I'm nighttime girl. They talk about something 8 o'clock call time. I'm like, okay, y'all dragging it. Then I wasn't nervous until I got on the train, and I'm like, they're gonna make this whole shit about all this gay shit, and it's all gonna be on my shoulders. You know what I'm saying? If people find visibility in me and they're inspired by me, that's fine. But at the end of the day, my art is about my narrative, and being Black is not like a monolith, and being gay is not a monolith. Being a bottom is not just one note. So if you f with the vibes, you f with the vibes. If you don't, I'm still gonna get checks. Period.
My favorite one was going to Pride with Kehlani. It was a huge stage. It was a huge stage, and so many people saw me and knew the words to my songs. It was honestly breathtaking just to go and see a crowd of, I think it was like 10, 20,000 people out there, all singing my lyrics and just hyping me up. And I'm like, yeah, give me your energy while I'm on this stage. It was so fun.
I got a call from Rock Nation, and Rihanna wanted me to come perform at her Savage Fenty, her fashion show? Her fashion show in New York. It was New York Fashion Week, and they called me and they wanted me to perform at her after party, and she wanted me to do 4 songs, so it just motivated me to keep going.
So The advice that I would give to a lot of the newer queer artists that are coming out is really, really question why you're making this art. Because a lot of people look at hip hop, and this is not even just, you know, to the gay boys or, you know, whatever. They want to make rap because it's a quick way to get money, or it's an avenue to become popular or to get clout. And that takes away from the actual art form of rap.
Just make sure that you're not trying to be anybody else but yourself. If you're being 100% authentic, keep promoting yourself, keep going, keep, you know, sharing your posts, never stop, because there's someone watching. You never know who's watching and who sees it. Trust me, that's the same way I feel. I didn't know people was watching me, and now I'm getting opportunities like this. You get what I'm saying?
You know, I just wish I would have known more of the business side of things. That's the most important, the business side of things, and just knowing that paperwork and knowing those contracts and taking time to read them.
If anyone's starting, it is really important to not forget you. The start of everything is you. And it's incredible how fast you can like completely forget that.
I empower Black queer voices by just being unapologetically myself. It's not necessarily a thing that I set out to do or I'm aiming to do. It just happens naturally. I came out in the 3rd grade, so my whole identity hasn't been up for debate, and I think that by me existing, it kind of gives people that same type of courage, I guess.
I empower Black queer voices by just being myself, being authentic, being me unapologetically. You get so much more respect when people are around you and they vibe with you and they see that this is you 24/7. This is not a facade. And you know what I'm saying? You're true to yourself and you're real to yourself. People respect you much more than you're trying to put on or, you know, just be something that you're not.
I'm always talking about being Black, gay, and proud. You ain't never gonna hear me stop talking about that. But I make sure that I am a role model, you know, a strong individual who can show you that you can't be broken by any types of homophobia, hatred, or people putting you down. You really just got to be stronger than yourself. I think me just being out there, being myself, itself is a testament that anybody else out there that's like me can do it.
It's bigger than just gays versus hip hop conversation. And, you know, I think I always stand by having a bigger conversation of the music industry putting out quality music and quality narrative. So that's what I'm about. Good shit.
I'm coming into the game not to just be another artist, just an artist. I also want to be able to help in different ways. So if there's things I need to speak on and touch on, like Black trans lives mattering, you know, LGBT youth with the suicide rates being so high, we got to talk and use our platforms to know that we can make a change in some of these things.
Acceptance of every kind is the only way to move forward, like, for real in this world. I don't even mean to sound like I'm like Miss Universe or some shit, but for real, we like definitely need to accept people more.
Get it together. That's what the fuck I want to say. Get it together. Period.